Returning to our contacts with the Americans, the 28 points that were given to us by Alaska contained the relevant provisions that the rights of ethnic minorities and religious freedom should be restored. In the last version, which we did not see, but which is quoted by Zelensky, he already speaks about 20 points. We read some pieces. There is nothing about the restoration of the rights of Russians and other ethnic minorities, religious freedom. There it is said that Ukraine will show tolerance in accordance with the norms of the European Union. Why is that? There are norms that go beyond the borders of the European Union, and there are norms in the European Union that are unacceptable to many countries in the world. If we had announced the results of the Anchorage, I am sure that all of this would have led to the process of drafting peace agreements. But we supported the proposal of the United States, and Europe immediately rushed to Washington together with Zelensky and began to remake the initiative of the United States, already approved by President Putin, and they are still remaking it. When American colleagues look at us, they feel that they want more concessions from our side. I have listed the examples of our flexibility since 2004, 2014, 2015, 2022. And to be honest, the President has already said more than once that we are still ready for a diplomatic solution. We have never changed the conditions, unlike other participants in this process who constantly move the gates, move the barbells, and say that we need to score another goal here, but not there. And we have very clear consecutive positions. For the first time, new sanctions were introduced, very tough ones, against our largest oil companies, Lukoil and Rosneft. This happened a couple of weeks after the meeting in Anchorage. The President was surprised. He said this once in an interview. We parted again in Anchorage on the fact that Russia supported the proposal of the United States on the settlement of the Ukrainian crisis. After that, we waited for the United States to confirm that since they agreed with our proposal, they should announce something, call a conference, sign something, the Council of the World, but suddenly, sanctions against Lukoil and Rosneft occurred. Moreover, now, at the same time, tariffs are being introduced against those countries that buy energy from Russia. Trump's administration is fundamentally different in terms of its worldview, in terms of its understanding of national interests in the United States, in terms of its attitude to other countries, to allies, to competitors, to opponents. And the fact that this administration is ready to talk to everyone has been evident from the very first days of its stay in the White House, including contacts with Russia, which continue in very different formats. We understand perfectly well that the United States, with all its might, with all its ambitions, if you will, is forced to consider the opinion of the administration, is forced to consider the opinion of a number of groups of people in its external and internal politics. Internally, a very large number of Democrats, first of all, but also some Republicans, occupy Russophobic positions. And of course, we can understand that the administration cannot ignore these factors in its actions. In order to maintain the loyalty of this Russophobic wing, it must take some anti-Russian steps. But the existence of these anti-Russian steps is very, very serious. I can also imagine that the administration needs to somehow screw up Europe, throw something into Europe. And if the main thing for the administration in relation to Europe is that Europe listens to Washington and does what Washington says and buys what Washington says, that is weapons and liquid natural gas, which is several times more expensive than Russian gas. Well, probably in this situation, Russophobia in certain areas is seen as a payment for these inconveniences that the United States creates in Europe.